When using a model form instead of a regular form, you can change the code you write for saving data to the database a little bit. What we're currently doing in the view is we're populating our form with the submitted data, and we need to do that to then validate it. But once it is validated, we create a model instance and save that. And that works. There is nothing wrong with that. But if you're using a model form, as we are doing it now, then you actually can skip this step here. You don't need to create your model instance. Instead, you can get rid of that import altogether, and instead, after validating your form, which you should still do to potentially show that form page again with errors, but after validating this, you can simply use your form and call save on that. And that wasn't possible before. But since this is a model form, you can now call save on it. And when you do so, that will then save that data to the database through that connected model. So in this case, through that connected review model. And Django will do that behind the scenes. So it will still hit the reviews table in the database, but you now just need to call save here instead of instantiating the review model on your own, as we did it before. And that's now another argument for using such a model form, because of course this can save some extra time and code, which you don't have to write now, because we just have to call save here on this form. Now it's also worth pointing out that you cannot just call save to save a new data entry, but also to update an existing one. Here in this example, we don't update any data, we just save new data. But if we had an existing review which we would want to update with data entered by the user in a form, then we could pass an extra argument to our review form constructor and set the instance keyword argument. And set this equal to a data instance fetched from the database. What do I mean with that? Well, let's bring back that import from .models and import the review model. Once I got this imported, we could of course get access to an existing model, to make this very clear, an existing data piece in the database by using review objects get. That's what you learned earlier in the course. We could get our review with an ID of 1. Now we could then pass this existing data, which it actually is, which we fetched from the database, as a value to this instance keyword argument. And then we would still populate the form with the entered user data. Once validated and once we call save, it will then save that data, but not as a new entry, but to update this existing entry in the database. And I'm just showing this here to make it clear that updating is equally simple when using a model form as it is to enter a new data piece. For a new data entry, you simply don't set this instance keyword argument, as we're doing it here, because of course here we want to add a new entry. But updating would be easy as well. And that's another strong argument for using a model form if you do have a strong connection between a database model and a form you want to show to your users. If that strong connection exists, using a model form might be convenient, not just because your form is predefined automatically, but also because you don't have to instantiate your model in your view then. Instead, you just have to call save on the form once you validated it, and you're good to go. So that's a convenient alternative, and the model form therefore is always worth a look if you in the end just want to create a form for a model which is responsible for saving data to the database.